We've got 10 more Midjourney styles to share with you here today. Simply add these to the end of your prompts separated by a comma, and you get images similar to the ones on screen now and the ones that I'm about to show. Starting with Scarecrowe style, the ability to kind of take a subject and turn them into a scarecrow has some pretty nifty effects and some pretty comical ones as well. As you can see here with Optimus Prime and Darth Vader. Looking a little bit silly as scarecrows, not quite as intimidating as usual, but the way it adds straw hats, all those straw elements to these images, I think does a really, really cool job. Whilst adding something a little bit creepy to the woman's face, but I still love that result overall. But framed in triangles can kind of swing in a few different ways. Like with this one here, it's kind of made the image up of triangles, but often it does tend to create this cool triangle frame in a lot of your images. Or add things in the background, much like the futuristic car here, creating a nice effect. Same with the waterfall. When you start adding it to characters, sometimes it makes them up of triangles, other times it frames them. I've tried to really stick with the best examples here, but you can see how you get some really nifty effects by playing with this particular phrase and create some really unique imagery just by adding in a bit of a shape to it. But 5 strips of changing hues, it could be any number really, but I found that this worked really well, creating this nice kind of like rainbow hue effect where things change color from strip to strip. You can see the Terminator here looking a little bit different, and I really like the way it's changed some of the sky and the elements of the samurai and Mario here, but it just has this nice way of adding those strips in to create a unique effect. So occasionally it will do something like the house and add the strips in there, but generally speaking it simply renders it with a number of different strips. So you can see with Goku's hair changing color from strip to strip in this image. But this was a cool mixed effect, the Chinese dragon inspired VHS glitch Vaporwave effect. So a bit of a mouthful, but you can see the cool effect it adds by adding that VHS glitch with a bit of a sort of Chinese dragon, usually in the background or sometimes as a part of the character. It creates some really unique, really cool looking imagery that I just think would look awesome on posters up on the wall, or just has a really nice effect overall. I really like the use of the subject with the glitch and the VHS kind of like color bleeding effect. I love this image of Superman here with the dragon in the background and Goku. The way it frames it up, adds those in the background, just adds something a little bit interesting to the image. Now, if you haven't already, check out my Midjourney style pack. Over 1,000 styles you can apply to your Midjourney prompts to get some pretty stunning images. It comes with a handful of PDFs with different styles and categories so you can quickly find what you're after. And there's a link in the description. Now back to the video. Now for something different, we have in AdventureTime style, which has a nice playful cartoon style much like the actual cartoon itself. And you can see how it kind of like changes the character's shape, proportions, and has that really drawn up cartoon style. The thing looks a little bit silly. I really like the way Mario's holding the sword in this one, but overall, I just love the transformation and the reimagining of these characters in different proportions to create that style. I love the fact that Hulk is very kind of blocky here and that Deadpool has a cube for a head. But even just doing things like cars, you just get a cool stylized car, which I think is a nice touch. But moving on to Egyptian god hieroglyphics style, we get something different again. So Goku looking very Egyptian here, the way it kind of adds things to the walls, or it'll often just add the character in front of some hieroglyphics like Hulk here, but often it'll also reimagine things. So you can see some of what's going on with Batman here and his suit, and the samurai, it's just like a stylized image of the samurai, but Goku looking like a cat god in Egypt, while the futuristic car has some cool symbols on it. So I recommend playing with that one, it's a lot of fun. But going from the old to the new, we have wireframe art, which has a very modern 3D modeled wireframe effect added to at least the vast majority of the images you get. Like Darth Vader looks like he is a 3D model about to be rendered. The Terminator, we've kind of got a little bit of shading on there and that bit of an outline. Overall, the effect it has is really nifty. Sometimes it can be a little bit hard to see the wireframe, but most of the time it does a pretty good job, and you get that nice sort of neat effect. The waterfall here really creates a sense of depth with that wireframe, which I thought was really cool. But Tiltshift photography is kind of like taking a photograph of something that is actually full size, but they focus it in a way that makes objects look small. So the house is a great example of this. It's an actual house that looks small, whereas sometimes you get sort of toy looking images like this Mario one, but it can be good playing with. Like this one here could pass for a toy or a real image, but I just love the effect it's had. It's really kind of held true to the overall look of Tiltshift photography in most cases. Now the car here, this still looks like a bit of a toy, so sometimes you don't get exactly the result you want, but it's definitely a nifty effect either way when Midjourney renders it. Moving on to Piranesi, or based off Giovanni Battista Piranesi, is an artist, and you can really see the impact that using his name has had on these images, creating a real dark black and white sketch style, a lot of realism, something kind of just, I know what dark, I've already said that, but that word dark just seems to resonate with these images. You get something lifelike, something really old-fashioned, and you see just very dramatic and cinematic in the overall framing and tone of the images. So I recommend having a play with that, using that artist's name to see what results you can get. But moving on to another artist, Caravaggio-Inspired Intense Realism. You see Goku looks like he's having a sleep, and in a lot of these images people look like they're having a sleep, but it's just like a painting style that adds a sense, kind of like a little bit of an old-fashioned sense of realism to the overall sort of colors, the shading and shadows. It's just a really nice impact on the image, and it's redressed Pikachu and has that effect sometimes, I think to do with the period. But woman's face, you can see she's kind of wearing a bit of a hood. Samurai, we still got that same kind of muted color, high contrast look, while Batman looks completely different. But the realism of this style and the sort of old-fashioned sort of way it renders things is really interesting. But the bonus style this week is a variation on the Chinese dragon style we had before, a Budo Japanese dragon inspired VHS glitch effect. Also had some very cool images. This image of the woman's face, I love the way that this one turned out. You can see Batman, no dragon here, but it has still had something of an impact due to the cultural sort of background, and Goku looks like he's turning into a dragon, Terminator turning into a dragon again, but the choice of colors, everything that's involved in these images looks really cool, and I think you could experiment with either of these two VHS glitch styles with the dragon to get some interesting images. So Darth Vader, I love the dragon, just adds something warrior-like to the images, and it's kind of like a cyberpunk looking car with the dragon over it. Pikachu looking positively evil. Definitely a lot of fun to play with that style. But otherwise, that is it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed those styles. Remember that in the description below if you want to copy and paste. Otherwise, if you like the video, please consider giving it a like. Otherwise, I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.